Right.
And
Oh my God.
I get my license.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Once I get my license, so I will completely go for the practical nursing.
Right. So in the meantime, when you're applying for a job, your objective is to look for part-time employment as a nurse, right?
No.
No?
Full-time employment as a nurse.
Full-time position as a nurse.
A full-time position as a nurse. Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's
your objective is, right, to find full-time employment as a nurse in the healthcare industry.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of how you would word your objective then. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So everybody has different jobs and careers, so it would be specific to your job and career. That's why I said you edit it for every single job you apply for too. I'm not sure, does everybody know everyone now? I don't think so, eh?
No, I don't think so. I think Monica is new to our group. Monica might not know everybody.
Okay, so top,
No.
what is it, right or left?
Top hand corner, Philiban, can you wave?
Yes,
Oh,
wait,
yeah,
Philiban.
Hi.
That's Philiban.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Monica.
Okay.
That's Jaden.
Jaden, can you wave? There's Jaden. You're back.
Shwari. Top right. Can you wave? Or wink? Thank you. And Kelly. Can you wave, Kelly? Thank you.
There's Kelly.
Monica, your camera's off.
It's a super cute picture of you and your son.
It is cute. I wonder how old he is.
I wonder, it looks a little bit older. So, Philiban, we're talking about what your objectives are on your resume.
Mm-hmm.
Your objective read like? Tell us your objective.
Currently, with my qualification, I can only search for like general level, those kind of.
Yeah.
That's my objective for now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are you looking for full-time, part-time?
Anything. Yeah.
Okay, but
Full-time
don't
or
write
part-time.
anything.
Yeah, you can't write anything.
Don't write I'm looking for
okay.
anything.
Full time is good. Yeah.
Full time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
So, can you tell us how you would read? Tell us what your objective would say.
I'm looking for a
Looking for.
I'm looking for a full-time general labor position. Is it right? Is it?
So, full-time general labor position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, let's say you were applying to a grass company.
Mm-hmm.
How would you expand that?
General labor position. Outdoor general labor position. Oh, is it grass? Okay.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
within the landscaping business, something along that line.
Mm-hmm.
What about if you wanted to apply, and I'm going to tell you this, guys, I'm saying it because I'm hungry, McDonald's. What would you say then?
I'm looking for a restaurant. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. So you still want full-time, so full-time
Full-time
position within the restaurant industry.
restaurant. Yeah.
Yes, but when I was saying yesterday about having a skeleton resume, that's where you would leave that spot blank, and you could put at McDonald's, like specifically in that objective too, and you should most definitely do that on your cover letter.
Mm-hmm.
So you make it very specific to the job you're applying for.
Okay.
Kelly, what would yours look like?
Applying for a part-time position in the management field.
Okay, within what industry?
Hotel restaurant.
Hotel restaurant industry?
Yeah.
Awesome. What about you, Shari?
Applying for a position for cleaning.
Yeah.
Or in hotel.
Okay. So within the hotel industry.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. I know, Jaden, we can't hear you, but I know you can hear us. So Jaden, yours would look more like you're kind of open, very much like Philiban, right? To whatever is kind of open out there. You like some customer service type stuff? No? No? So you don't want the public?
He doesn't want to deal with it.
His speaker is not working, Philiban.
Oh?
So
Yeah.
he can hear us, but we can't hear him.
Oh, okay.
So he's having
Difficulty.
to participate, and we're having to read lips.
It goes
Let
back
him
to
know that.
this could be like a communication exercise.
Absolutely.
On body language.
Yes, we could do charades. We could have Jaden do charades for us.
We could. I don't think
He doesn't look impressed with that answer.
No, he doesn't.
I love charades. It's one of my favorite games.
Oh my goodness.
Awesome.
Okay, what was the other video I put up? So I put the objective one. What was the other one? How to write your what? There's two more. How to write your education. Right? How would you write your education? What do you start with?
What is your recent one first? And then,
Exactly. Most recent first is reverse chronological order. So yours would be your whatever your most recent was, right? Okay.
And I can tell through the charades that's exactly what Jaden was saying.
Yes.
Here and work your way down. Great job, Jaden.
Awesome. Okay, another thing is consistency is key on your resume. So whatever format you choose, that's the one you're using. So if you put name of institution, let's say you went to St. Clair College and then you took hospitality, and then you put the date to the far right, and keep that consistent through your whole resume. I suggest you do that. What's the point of doing it consistently through your resume?
Isn't it so that they recognize the words in it?
You're right. It's it's easy to read, right? They call it. It's super easy to read. They can skim it very fast and see all your information. So if you don't have the same format throughout your resume, it makes it very hard to skim, and chances are they're going to skip it. So that's why we keep the same format through. So your education format should look the same as your volunteer format, the same as whatever else you put on your resume. So it's very, very easy to skim. Now, should you put volunteering on your resume?
It said yes.
Yes.
That, employers liked it.
Do you agree or disagree?
Why do you
Yes.
think so, Jaden? You're not quite sure about putting volunteer on your...
It's okay. Is it what he's saying? I
Okay.
don't know.
Does it depend on where you volunteered?
Okay.
Yes. Okay, that's what I thought you would say. Yay!
Yeah. So it really does show very well to employers when you are willing to give back to your community. It lets them know that you're the type of person that's probably going to go over and above in your work if you're willing to give back time to another organization.
You guys keep going out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There you go,
Maybe
you're
it's
back.
only you. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Now, what about if you don't have a lot of schooling behind you?
Yes.
What if you don't have a lot of schooling behind you?
We completely eliminate the education part, I think. Like, we don't put anything on it. Yeah.
Yeah, the best thing if you don't have a lot of schooling behind you is to do what we call the skills resume. And that really does highlight all of your skills and abilities. And again, I do not have Helen's binder in front of me, but I'm guessing that she's got information on there about skills resume.
Yep.
If you don't have a lot of education. And I'm not saying that you have to have a lot of education. It's just there's a way to flip it. If you have more experience and you've done more work experience and you've done a lot of volunteering, there's a way to flip that resume.
Yes. So like Monica, who disconnected, unfortunately, she is
screaming. My camera's dying.
I
think that's what I heard her screaming as it was shutting down on her.
Oh, okay. Her resume would be one that her education would be towards the top of her resume because she's a recent graduate. So that's something that she would highlight, that I just finished my program, here's my program, and then she would talk about that way. So if you have if your education, like Heather was saying, you don't have as much, it would go towards the bottom of your resume. And even if you do have a lot of education, as you build on your career, it's going to slide down your resume. It's not as relevant as your experience volunteering. That's more what they're looking for. Like when we talked about soft skills yesterday, it's right. The soft skills are more important than the hard skills sometimes. They're looking to see, are you a team player? Do you fit in well? Do you learn things fast? Do you learn from others? So that's why your resume is constantly changing. It's always evolving. It never stays the same.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
But remember too, guys, when you put things down as a soft skill, if you get called in for an interview, you need to be prepared to explain how you can do that.
Exactly.
Say, I'm a problem solver, then they're going to ask you, give me an example of how you problem solved before. So it's great if you're a problem solver, but this is why we want you to see your resume. We want you to practice your interview skills because,
which we will.
Yeah, because employers are going to look at that resume and they're going to say, wow, Philip-Ann, you told us that you were a great problem solver. Can you give us an example of a time when you had to problem solve at work? Right? So know what you're saying about yourself and know that you can explain what you mean by that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right? I have sat in on interviews with people before, and that tends to be where they get caught up. If they haven't really practiced what their resume says and know how to answer what they've told people. And you know what? You probably are a great problem solver, but if you haven't practiced the answer that you want to give if someone asks you that, then you're going to get stuck in the middle of an interview and be stuck going, versus being able to just have it roll off your tongue. I can give you an example of when I've problem solved at a job, and then you tell them what happened.
And communication is the number one skill employers look for, that you have good communication skills. So that's why they interview you. That's why they bring you in and talk to you face to face. They want you to demonstrate those communication skills to them. And it's not just how you talk, it's how you present yourself physically, body language, facial gestures, how you take their hand. There's a whole bunch of things in there. So we'll work on that when we get to interview skills, but keep all of that in mind. And your resume is your foot in the door, right? Like we were talking the other day, 100 people applying to any position posted. So if you're lucky enough to get an interview, that means your resume did its job well. That's why your resume has to be like really well written, no spelling, grammar mistake, format consistent. There's a whole bunch of. You guys look through the binder also gives you extra information too, and there's examples in there too, the different styles of resume.
Yes, and occasionally, guys, you get interviews because we do know some employers who are going to bring you in, but at the same time, we only can get you the interview. We can't guarantee you the employment. You have to follow through with that interview, and you've got to be showing them that what I've told the employer is right. You know, Jaden was working really hard at doing his work in the class. He got everything completed. Philip-Ann was working on great communication. Kelly got everything up to date. Shwari was ready to go. For me to tell them that, they're going to expect that that's going to happen when you come in. For those employers that we do know or that do say, sure, Heather, I'll interview Shwari, send her in. Okay, so we want you to be very specific and ready to go. So when you do have an interview, absolutely, I'm going to tell you at least the day before you interview, you need to be connecting with Helen or myself so that we can do some practice questions with you. We don't know every single question that they're going to ask you, but we have I've sat in a lot of interviews with people, so I have heard a lot of the questions that employers are asking, and some of them seem like they're totally off the cuff. If we were back at class, I would give you my stack of questions are things that I've heard employers ask. Something strange like, if you were a bird, where would you fly and why? Right?
That's a good question.
Why do you think employers ask you stuff like that?
I have no idea.
Interest.
To see how strong information.
Yeah, they want to see, can you think on your feet?
Yeah.
Kind of shows some creativity. It kind of gives them a little insight to who you are. Right?
That's like a personality type question.
Yeah.
They're
So Philippine, if you were a bird and you could fly anywhere, where would you go and why?
Oh. I don't, maybe I will fly to a beautiful forest or something like that. Yeah.
Why?
Because I just want to see beautiful things. That's it.
Nice. Very nice.
Nice. Kelly, where would you go?
If I were a bird, where would I go?
Yeah.
I would go down south, where it's warm.
Me too. Shwari?
I just take over with a lot of people so I can get a bird's eye view.
A bird's eye view? Good answer. Not me, I'm afraid of heights. So. Heather?
I would definitely fly to Hawaii. I know we were talking about Hawaii yesterday, so Helen got me all wrapped up about Hawaii and wanting to go to Hawaii. Definitely fly to Hawaii because I would hope it would be a shorter trip. If I was flying myself, I could stop at all those beautiful forests that Philip Bird was going to stop at. And then once I got there, I could just enjoy Hawaii and pineapple and all those things that are Hawaiian. And Helen, you're not going to fly because you're afraid to fly?
Yes, I would be a penguin because
It can't fly.
I'm afraid of heights, so I would be the flightless bird. Although I do not enjoy the cold, I don't know. I'd be a conflicted bird.
That's funny. That's funny. Other things that I've heard them ask, guys, are things like, if you could be a superhero, what kind of superhero would you be and why?
My favorite is if you were an animal. If you were an animal, which animal would you be and why?
Yes. So be prepared because a lot of employers now are doing that, right? They're going online and they're checking things that they can do to really get the best employee. And so they'll look up, there's literally site upon site upon site of questions that employers can ask. And they're those types of questions that they're asking. They ask the standard ones about, tell me about you and give me an example of times when you've done. But they do want to have, creative or people who can think on their feet. So they'll ask you those types of questions.
They do. And those are very common questions in an interview process. Very, very common. So don't be surprised if they ask you something along those lines. It's pretty common now. This is what I would like you guys to do, though. I want you to go back and look at your resumes after you looked at the videos I put up. And I know you've all sent me your resume, so thank you for all of them. But I want you to go back and look at your resume and see, is there anything you can edit to make it better after going through the binder and watching the videos? So I want you to look at the whole resume. It could be adding an objective. It could be tweaking some of your soft skills. It could be adding some other hard skills you didn't have on there, volunteering, anything. It's up to you guys. You decide if there's anything. And I'm going to tell you the answer is yes. There is that you can add. So you have to kind of critique your own resume. Okay. Normally we do this together, but it's a little difficult. So we're doing the best we can.
Yeah. And every time you send a resume, guys, you should be tweaking it.
Always.
Single time. Every single time. If you're sending 4 resumes in one day, each resume should look a little bit different because it should go according to, like we said yesterday, whatever they're looking for. If it's a self-starter who can work in a team, you better have self-starter who can work in a team somewhere in your resume.
Yeah.
So you've got to really get used to reading the ad and then making your resume match as closely as possible without cutting and pasting. Don't cut and paste out of an ad.
They're going to know that anyway.
There, so that those words are in your resume.
You can use the same words, like, so if they say, you could say I'm a team player. So it's the same concept, same words, but it's in your resume. So that's why you really have to read the ad. What are they asking for? What are the skills they're looking for? And that's why you edit every single resume.
Yeah, because I'll tell you guys, I've seen when we were hiring for Helen's position, I saw people who literally cut and paste the ad out and put it right into their resume. That person is not someone I want to come in and teach the class. Mm-hmm. Because obviously they don't have the creativity and the knowledge to be able to put together a resume, to be able to teach students how to do a resume. Right? So you want to be able to be creative, but at the same time, match all of the things that they're looking for. Okay, it's a tough market out there, but we want the upper edge.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Okay. Do we have anything else for today, Helen?
I would like to go back, look at all your resumes. After looking at all the stuff this morning in the binder, all the videos, and I want to know where you can improve upon in your resume. That's what I want to come back this afternoon and discuss. Okay? Sound good?
Yeah, I just have something to say.
Sure.
Yeah.
For the afternoon, I will be able to check in for attendance, but my family is just doing something inside the house, so I might not be able to be in. Or there's gonna be a lot of loud noises. So is it okay if I check in, but I won't be able to be on the call for too long?
So you'll need to check in, Shwari, and what you're going to have to do is you're going to send Helen what you would make your changes on, and then we're going to have you speak first.
Yep.
So that you can share with us. You don't have to read your resume word for word. Everybody here. That goes for the rest of you too. You don't have to read your resumes word for word, but you're going to need to look and say, okay, in my objective, after we discussed this morning, I see that I needed to add in this piece, or down in my schooling, I needed to change the way it looked.
Yes, or maybe you had to flip your whole resume, depending on your education, experience, all that stuff. So, oh, hello.
Oh, who is that?
That's fine.
Hello,
Brendan. So, this is Brendan. For everyone who doesn't know, wave, Brendan. Can you wave?
Mm-hmm.
There he is. Hi, Brendan.
Hi.
How's it going? I just got the Wi-Fi.
That's okay. We just, not everybody met, so. So, Philipan, can you wave for him?
Yeah.
That's Philipan. Jaden, can you wave? Jaden. There you go. That's Brendan. Ellie. Thank you. Kelly, Shwari. There's Brendan. Very nice. Glad you made it.
Awesome.
Okay, so can you stay on for a few more minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll talk to the rest of you guys after.
Okay, so for the rest of you, we'll see you at 2.
Okay.
And I'm going to catch Brendan up on what he missed, okay?
Because you guys were.
Okay.
All right, see you guys this afternoon.
Okay. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.